Hi guys, Nomishavn here, and welcome to episode 9 of the Cities Skylines series, where I'm building the city of Nomishavn. Last time I built an industrial area which finally filled out the space that has been sitting empty for quite a while. A harbour for barges, some rail yards with warehouses and freight terminals, as well as a small train maintenance facility, as well as a post-sorting facility and a recycling centre, so tons of stuff. This was the first time for me properly diving into an industrial build, and although I still think it's really hard and out of my comfort zone, I had a lot of fun with it, and there will definitely be more of them, because they are needed a lot. For pretty much all of Björgvin, I have been sticking pretty rigidly to older, more classical building styles, but that will change today. I am removing all the rocks that filled out the end of the barge harbour last time, because I figured the harbour area would have been stretching all along the city, and this was mostly just a placeholder for the cinematics when I didn't know what to put there yet. This part of the waterfront has been, for a long time, industrial, and hosted a lot of factories in early years. As the city grew, most of the heavy industry and factories were pushed further away from Björgvin, while only the barge harbours and some fish factories are what today remains of the industrial Docklands in this area. For decades, the rest of the area was an eyesore in the district, with abandoned factories becoming a haven for homeless people and drug addicts, and overall it became a really unpleasant place. In 2010 it was decided to clean up the area. All of the abandoned factories were demolished and a new neighbourhood was established, with modern apartment buildings and offices. The area has for a long time been the place of the cruise terminal, which is directly integrated to the urban ferry system in the city, so this will also be included in the build. One of the original metro lines of the city runs directly beneath the area, and under development there was digging down to the tracks in order to add a new station to serve all the new citizens and workplaces there. This story might sound familiar, and that might be because Reurbanisation of Docklands with an industrial past has been done in many cities all over the world, and can be a great place if done right and correctly incorporated into the city. I know there's nothing there from before as I'm building it from scratch, but I think some historical context is valuable, so you don't wonder why there's suddenly an area with taller and more modern buildings in this older part or district of the city. Closest to the industrial area will be where the tallest residential towers will be. This is because it's far enough from the historical center not to be limited by the strict height limits, while the whole waterfront here will have all very modern buildings. As we get closer to the central area of Björgvin, the height will gradually decrease. Looking at this metro station that we're building here, you might wonder why I'm doing it like this and not just plopping down an underground station and be done with it. But I'm thinking in real life, to be realistic, this whole area would be like demolished and it's kind of like a blank canvas, and I imagine doing a sunken station like this would be a lot cheaper than making a underground station, and because they had a lot of space free, I imagine it would make sense doing it like this and then just continuing the line underground when it's going into more central and built out areas that would have been there for a long time. So right here I'm just creating some small marinas for the area. Imagine some of the apartments would have a spot on a marina to park the boat as part of the apartment. So I'm just creating this wooden pier down to the marinas, and then it's a mix of small motorboats, some medium-sized ones, some sailboats, and some bigger yachts as well. It's not gonna be some huge marinas with boat maintenance and place to fill gas for your boat. If I make some bigger marinas other places in the city, I'll probably include those things, but this is basically just a spot to park the boats for some of the apartments in this area. because there's a big change in terrain around this area, it's important to target a few places for stairs, so people walking don't have to go all the way around where the road goes, if they want to head towards the area around the terminus station and merchant lane. While doing this, I want to make something a little more interesting. I will have 2 stairs with a middle level, where entrances of a few apartment buildings will sit, as well as some fountains, benches, planters and so on, making it as sort of a tiered block, which I think will look really cool and also be a real effective use of the space around the stairs. Further down closer to the entrance of the terminus, I will make a set of bigger stairs that also will have a middle level, but there I will just have some decorations and prepare for a plaza at the top, which I can flesh out later on in another video.
Counting the days until summer, feeling the warm rays upon my face. Leave all my worries in a gentle breeze. Big sunshine and new life in the way I need. Counting the days until summer, feeling the warm rays upon my face. Leave all my worries in a gentle breeze. Big sunshine and new life in the way I need.
Lastly, I will come on to do this bridge across the wide river. Earlier I just extended a wide tram road to mark that I will have a bridge crossing at this place, but the trams aren't going to cross here as they are just local district services in this city. I looked around a while for bridges that could fit, and eventually decided to use this acid modeled after the Bay Bridge around San Francisco, I believe. This bridge was built sometimes in the 1930s, and although I first had an idea of an older medieval bridge here, but the span is over a kilometer long, and I know most really old medieval bridges usually aren't close to that length. So I imagine there was no bridge here before the 1930s or 40s, and that is just boats to cross before that. It has this great lower deck which I will use to cross the river with some metro tracks, and I adjusted the unused underground station below the main station to do this. It was kinda hard to work with the terrain to make it go from underground and align with the lower deck of the bridge, but eventually it turned out okay. So that is for today's build. I hope you enjoyed it if you made it this far. It was kind of a cool change of pace to make like a really modern neighborhood compared to the older style of building I usually do, although I probably will get back to that in a next video. But I really just think it really fit in with next to this older industrial area because of the whole reurbanization thing that was kind of cool to tackle in the game. And likes, comments and subscribe, so I really appreciate it, and it would greatly help me to grow the channel. And have a good day, hope to see you next time, and stay tuned for some cinematics.
Shitty train, I got no sun, there's only rain, I wanna crash and numb this pain. Nothing will last inside this lane. Oh, take me far